Hi, Chris. We're here at the Salzburg Global Seminar talking about breaking the glass ceiling in politics and business. You're the head of the Women's Funding Network. Why should philanthropists and women, male, female, give to women's funds?
Well, I think the first question is why should philanthropists give to women and then through women's funds? So I think there's two answers to that.
Fair enough.
The first answer is that our logic model is that if you economically secure a woman's life, then that becomes secure for a family. The family then secures that with communities, communities with countries, and countries with the world. So if you start with women, you have an immense chain reaction that works positively to make change. So that's one reason why to pull out and specifically focus on women's leadership and women's organizations. In terms of women's funds, what's exciting is it allows people to have a place where they can pool their money. So it's not just one philanthropist or two, but it may be 10, 15, 20, 30.
So it's magnifying the power.
Absolutely. In the same way that you magnify the results through this logic model that I mentioned, you magnify the power and the leverage of those dollars by pooling money together.
And where does the money go to help women? Where is it best used to help women?
Well, I think one of the things about women's funds is that they are very connected to their grantee partners. They know who they are. They believe that in order to make this formula work, you have to have funders, you have to have donors, you have to have grantee partners that work together in partnership. So they know who the leaders are on the ground, who are doing excellent work, who have solutions that they're working on. So women's funds focus on funding solution builders and leaders who understand solutions. And that may range everywhere from looking at dismantling of poverty, economic justice, to human rights issues, to stopping violence against women. All of those issues are interconnected in a holistic way. I think the key here is what leaders and what organizations are you going to support to really make a difference in that community on any one of those issues.
Let me just throw in microfinance. That's a big buzzword now that the Nobel Prize was given to the founder of one of them. Is microfinance one of the tools in women's funds now?
I think one of the tools in women's funds is definitely to give women the opportunity to create their own businesses, to figure out how to be economically secure. And microfinance is certainly one way. The problem with microfinance is that many people see it as its own separate panacea. Oh, if we give her $50, we'll change poverty.
Right.
When the fact of the matter is, microfinance is most effective when it's coupled with training, when it's coupled with access to markets, when it's coupled with can we increase those loans so people can build their businesses and add to their assets. Because the only way poverty changes is when you have both income and asset building. So you have to look at microfinance maybe as the beginning piece, but then there are all kinds of other pieces that needs to be tied onto it.
What's the connection between philanthropy and giving to women's causes and things and breaking the glass ceiling?
Well, I think that philanthropy provides funding to fuel the social change movement. And it's that social change movement that then puts into place the laws, the changing of opinions of civil society in terms of whether women should be in those positions at all. It creates the foundation for the door to be open for women to walk through, to get into business, to get into politics. If you don't have that change mechanism in a culture, those doors never get open.
I see.
So that's a really critical piece. And if you want it to be sustained, then you need to be able to sustain that social change, because there are always issues that come up along the way that need to have advocacy, that need to have public awareness or education. And that then just keeps opening that door wider and wider for more women to go through.
We've talked about how women have economic power, maybe more economic power than men in many respects, but I think you have some thoughts about how women might be using that economic power to help crack the glass ceiling.
Well, one of the things is, first of all, to describe what that economic power is. And they don't have more than men, because I think that would not be accurate, but they certainly have enough to influence, to change, to make a difference.
Okay.
And it's in three ways. One is women coming into the workforce are the economic engine for the global economy. Two is that women are now accumulating either by inheritance or earning their own wealth. And that's becoming in huge numbers, in the trillions of dollars in the next 30 to 40 years. Three, women as consumers. So all three of those areas are different kind of economic push points.
Right, they have different leverage.
Exactly.
Well, give us an example maybe on what kind of leverage consumer power has, because that's a big one.
Well, I think there's a lot of what we call cause-related marketing. And you see this in the breast cancer research field, where there's a whole month in the United States in October of breast cancer research where people are selling items on the grocery store that a percentage goes back to that research. That's one way to look at it, and that's one way it gets organized. I mean, that's a positive screen. The negative screen is if you find out that companies are not treating women right, that there are no women directors, that they have no benefits for women in terms of health care or retirement, then I think the question is, can women begin to organize to say, this is not acceptable and we're not going to buy your products? I think that's the next step.
That's the next
From
step.
the positive, that's the next step.
How do you see these issues and these debates evolving in the next 5 years?
I think the potential is huge for all of them because we're looking at, first of all, huge problems. But I think also women are beginning to look at bold and new and big solutions. And I think what I see happening is that women's solution building power and energy, if it merges together with other women and men and can be put at the table, they can have an incredible impact on changing and make a difference in the world today.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for those
Thank you.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.